cash right. Finest VVS's to my wrist into a flashlight.
That's crazy. You have to see it.
When does it get hard?
Every vlog I shoot for a founder, every single one runs on the same structure underneath it. I'm giving you the whole thing today. No upsell sign up form BS, the actual system, start to finish, gear and all. Quick heads up on how this is laid out. 2 halves. First half's the process, the sequencing rules I don't ever break. Second half is aesthetics and packaging, the stuff that decides if anyone even clicks the thing in the first place. Most creators only ever get taught one of these, and today you are getting both. I used to just show up and shoot and kind of hope the editor would cut it together. Most of the time, they didn't because they had no structure. First real founder shoots I ever directed, we had none of this figured out. And the footage was lackluster. It was fine. It was forgettable fine. And that's the exact moment I sat down and built what I'm about to show you. Before anybody touches a camera, before we even talk about gear, we find the reference, an actual video sitting right there on my phone or computer that we are chasing. Not an example or an aesthetic from a Christopher Nolan film or some other Hollywood director, not some mood board word like cinematic, an actual clip or video. And then we sit with it, I would say, way longer than it really feels necessary to, and we ask ourselves why.
You remember when you were a kid, going on those school trips with all your friends, having a blast, making memories? What a time. Well, this is kind of like that, except way fucking cool. Oh, sorry. Should have warned you. This is not a kid's movie.
Why the framing is done like that? Why'd they cut there and not 2 frames later? What is the sound design doing underneath it that you're not picking up on? Skip those steps and you get footage that is just fine. Kind of competent, but never really enough to have you competing with the very best in the industry. I'd rather burn 20 extra minutes staring at a reference than get 20 minutes of good, but not so great footage back from the editor and the videography team. Every scene we shoot has to earn its spot, and there's 3 questions I run through pretty much automatic at this exact point. What is actually happening? And specifically, quote unquote, founder walks into the office isn't a scene. Founder's 15 minutes late, phone in one hand, coffee in the other, apologizing to nobody. He looks at the cameraman and he doesn't look at the camera. Now that is how you describe a scene. Second, the specialty. Every scene needs its own trick. An overhead, a rack focus, a speed ramp on the walk, whatever it may be. 2 scenes back to back using the same specialty just never work. You've lost what made it retention worthy. And third, it is location, because where you shoot it is doing half your aesthetic work before the camera's even rolling. You cannot out-edit a shit location. This is why scouting, and I always say this to the video guys and creatives behind the founder, scouting is just as important as anything else in this simple yet complex system.
It's fucked. Like, I was laying there in bed up until like, what, 3, 4 p.m.? And I was like stressing. I was like, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do this? If I can't do 25K, how am I gonna, at this pace, how am I gonna do the entire marathon? And then I fucking
just did it.
Now, pacing is basically a law in my head at this point, so I need to go into a little bit of detail here. Simply because most social media platforms give most impressions to high retention content. So cold opens have to hit immediately. Anything routine, so like logistics, getting from point A to B, that always has to be montage. There's no real-time footage there. And you get 1 slow moment in a video, maybe sometimes 2, if you have enough credit with your audience.
I'm still getting used to this shit, bro.
7:58 in the morning and shit. Man, been in here since 5 though.
Somewhere in the back half, we call these quote-unquote yap sessions, something unscripted, something really real. That's it, 1 or 2 at most. Give people 10 slow moments in a video and they stop trusting any of your content now, in this specific video, and in the future. The contrast of fast and slow, that's the whole trick. That is what is gonna make people watch 20+ minute videos as if it was like an Instagram reel.
And now I live in a fucking movie!
like the most unique experience you can have.
Like literally top 3 experiences of my entire life.
Not many.
Now, this one's the one that people usually skip over and pretty constantly. Whoever's behind the camera is basically doing as much of the work as whoever's in front of it. And I could be the most interesting person in the room, and if nobody's thinking 2 scenes ahead, framing the next beat before it happens instead of reading it after the fact and reacting to it, it's always gonna fall flat, and you're just gonna get an unhappy client, or you yourself will be an unhappy founder. Even the greats still get this part wrong. That is a real job on set, not just the guy holding the camera, but a guy that understands how the scene needs to come across to the audience and to the viewer the second it goes live.
Just so you understand what's going on behind the scenes, I have my videographer here, Victor. I have my creative producer, Mark, here behind me. And Victor's like, yo, this is gonna be such a fire Daniel Dalen-esque shot. Such a, like, drop a hot take.
One more thing that changes everything about how consistent content looks like is we, as in my team, we don't actually shoot one video at a time and vanish for weeks. We usually will batch, so that looks like 3 to 4 days back to back to back to back. That means 1 location, 2 locations, really scouting and then hammering through the content as much as possible while the crew is dialed in and the light might be consistent, so all these micro details are very consistent. Yes, it's exhausting, and I won't lie, often after a hard day of working, it's followed by a few beers or a night out just to reset the vibe. And by day 3, everyone is running on whatever fumes they have left. But look, the content and the quality doesn't dip video to video because we're never starting cold. And I'll say this thing, it's super important for founders and especially like big business operators. Most of the times, the founders get so confident with the process that they don't separate too far from real actors. Because in truth, they are already charismatic people within their own business and life. They just need a process that would unlock them. Here's the mental flip that actually matters. Aesthetics isn't about a single shot. People decide whether they trust you in about 2 seconds before you've said a single word, purely off what the thing looks like. And by the thing, I mean the shot, the scene, how you look like, how you're dressed, and so forth. And that isn't shallow, that's just exactly how attention works on social media when the competitive ecosystem is so evolved. High production content is basically you saying, without actually saying this, I take this seriously, there's real investment, there's real money, there's real process behind this. And to be honest, for a founder trying to build a brand, that's not a nice to have, that is an actual must and a way you can outcompete the entire field. It's probably one of the greatest reasons for my own success and the success of the founders we work with at Aesthetery. So what this actually means in the day-to-day is sometimes you have to make decisions like matching your lens to the scene, something wider and more natural for the conversational stuff, something tighter for talking head where you want specific focus, where you want the compression flattening your face a bit. Keep your grade locked across the entire video because nothing, and I mean nothing, will kill trust faster than a color shift halfway through or a different editing style. Suddenly it feels like 2 different people made it or even recorded it. And sound is where everyone cheaps out. Room tone, a decent lav mic, the basics, it's the first thing people notice, even if they cannot tell you why it makes an impact with them. Regarding the edit, none of it matters if the title doesn't get clicked. And usually 1 sharp promise beats 4 soft ones. Copy and paste this, as in this video, works because it's basically promising 0 effort on your end. Like a number or a dollar figure, something concrete, that works also because vague titles ask people to trust you, and specific ones, they tell you exactly what they're getting. And usually I will say like pick 1 hook and go all in on it instead of cramming 4 ideas into 8 words. And I can guarantee you that if you think a single YouTube video about packaging or a rookie uneducated version of Claude will come up with a good title for you, good luck spending $10,000 on low return content. Thumbnail gets quite overlooked because it's quite a completely different job than the title. It's not planning, it's not explaining anything, it's creating a bit of tension, a little bit of supplement. Quiet, still frame next to a loud title. The gap is what makes someone stop scrolling. Loud thumbnail, loud title, usually it's like the same energy and the whole way through it just reads as noise and people scroll right past the noise. So for thumbnails, either use the most saturated AI BS that you can get away with or try to land those iconic Pinterest-esque shots that stand out and make people stop scrolling no matter what. Now, I will say with thumbnails, it's a game of testing and experimenting. You definitely don't want to always ride in the same direction, because I will say we've had clients where it's like they're only focused on making Pinteresty iconic thumbnails and those won't convert for 3-4 videos in a row, and then we feel like we're stuck, and then we do try an AI one and it just blows up and the video is a massive outlier. So I do always recommend to try and test and experiment as much as possible, especially with packaging. A video isn't a one-off, it's a source file. Once it's cut, we're already pulling 3, 4, 5 pieces out of it for shorter form content. And that's honestly the whole reason structure matters this much, and a vlog with no system in it gives you nothing to pull from later. A video built like this, you're basically getting a week of content out of a single shoot. And look, if you're a founder and you got to this specific point, the biggest change I will make for you as a creative director is put you in what I would call clip farming mode, where shooting a vlog means you speak and you act in ways that are so superior to the rest of the industry that a 20-minute video can be cut into 40 to 50 clips because there's so much going on and there's so much charisma coming from you that you outperform all the other paid and organic content in your niche. And look, none of this will work if you copy it exactly word for word, shot for shot, steal the structure, not the content. I'm saying this as in go find your own reference, build your own version of every piece of this, and put in the reps. Literally test everything, experiment with everything. It took me probably 30 plus vlogs and videos with myself and different creators before there stopped being a feeling like there was a checklist and it started feeling really, really natural, where we can predict the success of a video, and sometimes we know if it will flop. And that's really the entire game of vlogging. And if you got here and if you want to work one-on-one with me, I have 3 slots open. You get the entire game plan, FaceTime with me every single week, and full management of your brand that will, I'm so sure of it, will go nuclear if we match in tastes. Click the link below for more info, and thank you so much for watching the video. Bang!